Hi, I'm Jackie with Veterans Rideshare, and today we've got one of our drivers with VRS Trucking. This is Tony Robinson. He is also a military veteran, and he and his service dog go around the country working with VRS Trucking. I can't wait to hear his story today and hear his experience. So, thank you so much, Tony, for being with us today.
Oh, of course. Thank you for having me.
So, can you first tell me a little bit about your backstory? Before you got involved with Veterans Rideshare, you yourself served in the military. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, I served in the military from 1996, straight out of high school. I was, well, at the time I was 17 and I had to wait till I turned 18 to join. There was no more waivers. So I joined, I did 14 and a half years. I was doing dual career. So basically I was um, doing my military duties. And then on top of my military duties, when I was on leave, I was driving truck. So And everyone who's ever been in the military knows a private does not get paid very much. So I had to compensate that way. And I always loved trucks. I always been into it. And finally got the opportunity to do it. And so military paid for my first CDL. And everyone thought I was 88 Mike, which is a truck driver in the military. And I wasn't. But on my home time or my leave time from the military, that's what I would do. So I wouldn't take my leave for a while. My COs or commanding officers were really cool. I got to actually save up my time. So I'd have like month and a half off, and I'd spend that time driving and perfecting my driving skills. So that way, if anything was to happen to me in the military, which did, and I couldn't do that job anymore, I had something to fall back on. And then as well as I went to college at LSU. That's my alma mater. And I also am originally from New Orleans. So I went to college, what do they call it? Distance learning. So while I was overseas, I was doing my college in between. And again, I got out in 2010. I got out as a master sergeant, airborne, 82nd. Um, and I'll leave that part at that. It was a great experience. I'm actually an Air Force brat. My dad raised me, and he was in the Air Force. I chose to do the Army. I thought he would be mad, but he was happy. And then when I started truck driving, I realized I had like 5 or 6 uncles that were truck drivers. Um, 3 of them retired from uh, ABF. 2 have retired from Yellow Freight, and they did that back when roads weren't even paved. It was dirt roads, and you still had wood tires all the way up until now. So,
Gosh, that's impressive. So you had a couple of different legacies in your family, and thank you for your service. I'm amazed that
thank you.
you were in so young and you were that hardworking and innovative that you had multiple jobs. And then even when you were overseas, you were a student. I mean, that really says a lot
Yes,
about your work ethic and your determination.
yeah. I can't say I instilled it in me, but watching those around me work hard and achieve different things just made me want to do it. And a lot of people look at our industry of truck driving as if we're mindless zombies, bearded outlaws who just tear up the highway. Well, I can a testament to that that's not true. We do think, we do have brains. I know people who are nuclear physicists that drive a truck. I have a PhD. I drive a truck. So, and it is a psychological thing. You're away from home, away from those who know you best. You're in a different town and pretty much every day and every night. You have a lot to worry about, a lot to think about. When things happen back home, you're not there to fix it. You have to depend on other people. So the military kind of prepared me for it because it's a team thing. I drive around with my wife, also my service animal, Harley. He's a little Chihuahua, and
I love that.
it's just because he helps me in certain things that she cannot. And my wife is actually a surgical nurse. So again, we're not just dumb people behind the wheel. We have degrees. We're just like anyone else. We just choose a different lifestyle, and our lifestyle is being out on the road. And what job pays you to see the world? At least the United States. I've been to 23 different countries, and I've been to all 50 states. But being and doing that, just military wise, yeah, you're breezing through your training, your TDY, you're doing different things. But to actually stay in America, drive through it, and see it for what it really is and the beauty that it is, I don't want to go on a cruise. I don't want to go to Jamaica. You know, most of my family are Jamaican. I don't need to see that. I got beauty in my backyard, but I get paid to see it. So it's a great thing.
That is
Great payoff.
it's a wonderful opportunity, and you're so right. I think a lot of times it's so easy to just judge someone and assume. I was an army wife for 7 years, and people thought, oh, well, you're just there holding down the home front. And no, I work from home. I have a master's degree. I'm like you as well. Like you wouldn't know
Right.
unless you actually talk to
Yeah,
the person, get to know them. And
exactly.
a lot of
It's
facets.
like you don't have to profess it. As soon as I open my mouth, you know that I'm not the most smartest guy in the world, but I'm okay. As Chris, our owner, would say, Chris Prozac, I'm normal. You
Yes,
know, so
for sure.
that's all I do. I just do the job that I love to do. I love trucks. I love everything about it, uh, even the bad stuff. You take the good with the bad because at the end of the day, I look at the big picture. I'm doing what I love. Can't be mad about that.
That's fantastic. Well, and have you and your wife been married for a while? Was she married to you while you were in the military?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
So,
We got married after. This is post military.
okay.
And like she's a surgical nurse, so she understands a lot of the challenges that I go through with certain issues that stem from combat and things like that.
Mhm.
And it makes it a lot easier, you know. And she supports me in anything I want to do. And people put a stigma on mental illness. I have mental illnesses. Some stem from combat. Some are just genetic. You know, I can't change that. But I've never been one to sit on or rest on my laurels and use anything for a crutch. I'm out here, I'm doing it. What's your excuse? Whatever you put your mind to, you can do it with the right people behind you. And that's one reason that I chose VRS. Of course, they're just in only one way. They're like any other company. They have recruiters. The difference between their recruiters and other recruiters that I've talked to, you know, I've been doing this for 17, almost 18 years. They're not blowing smoke. You know, I like to call those recruiters the train stack because all they do is blow smoke. And it's smoke and mirrors. You get there and everything looks great. You're in a shabby hotel. Uh, you realize what they told you they were going to pay you just for your orientation. They're not.
Right.
So now you're already in the hole before you even start driving.
And where's
Because
the
they'll tell
trust?
you,
How
oh,
do you know
a
they're going to
cash
take care of
advance.
you, move you up, anything?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, like I tell the guys now, they ask me my opinion on things. I guess I have a friendly face, so they're not afraid to ask. You know, it is a man dominated field. And a lot of us let our testosterone get the better of us. Instead of asking a question, we assume. And so they ask me certain things, and I tell them because you're not hurting me in the paycheck and you're not bothering me at all. So if you have a question, I answer it if I know the answer. And if I don't know the answer, I'll find it and get it to you because I got fortunate enough to be trained by owner operators. So my lessons are different than someone who just went to truck driving school. They're just doing enough to get you to pass the test. Now you're out here, you're in the industry, but you're still lost. And I know one thing about this company, about VRS, that they don't do that. You're not alone. You're not stranded. You're not stuck. Um, they support you in everything because it's a tight knit family. It's a family. It's not just trucking. You're not just a number. You're not just whoever. And it was funny because I didn't test them on it, but I called in one day to driver support, not dispatch, driver support. I love that. And I gave them my truck number because that's what I was used to in the industry. And they're like, truck number, what's your name? I told them, I'm Tony Robinson. Oh, you're in 3160. Yeah. It kind of threw me. I was like, so you didn't even know me by the number? And that's great. It makes you feel like you're actually a part of something, especially leaving the military, which is team driven. You're only as good as your weakest link. Well, here it's so great because we blanket each other. We may get a new dispatcher. They may not really, they haven't been thrown out there yet. I've owned 5 trucks before. So I know all the facets of it. So I'll be like, you should, to make your life easier, try this, try that. If they implement it, cool. If not, well, that's kind of on them, but the information's there. And so we help each other because we all want to be at one level to start and then move up as a team. I know that I've talked to the owner. I want to go back owner op, but I won't pull for another outfit. I'm going to stay here pulling freight for them just because of the people. Miss Tony is excellent. Phil, he's the orientation teacher and orientates you into how we do things because it's a lot different than a large company. I've drove for, I won't mention any names, but I drove for some of the big companies. And yeah, a lot of things are great, but a lot of things are not. And you feel like you can only talk to your driver manager, but your driver manager don't care. He's just trying to get you loads to make money. Yeah, money makes the world go around, but not here. It's secondary to the happiness of a driver. And that's what I like. And for someone with tenure, which I never thought I'd be saying, because when I started, like, I don't know if I'm going to keep doing this, but I just fell in love with the people here. Like I said, Miss Tony, Miss Phil, you can't go to a company and pull in and the owner's dirty just like the mechanics. The owner's unloading a trailer. The owner's hands-on. He runs up, hey, how you doing? Gives you a hug. Usually the owners stay away from the owner. You see him, just say hi and keep walking. I've been told that at companies. And I'm like, wow. So it's really nice to have the owner be able to sit down just like me and Chris did this morning. We're talking about things to help the company, not complaints. Because a complaint is just, hey, this isn't working, and you walk away. Bring a complaint, bring a solution too, or an idea. Because as Tony said in her interview, she doesn't know everything about trucking. She's new to the industry. So if someone like me who sits up there and they don't know what they're talking about, they're just dumb. Are they really dumb, or am I for not even inputting information and helping the team? And that's why I chose to go with the small fleet instead of a large fleet, where I count, I matter. All I have to do is my job. I don't have to worry about anything else. And if I fall into a problem, like I picked up a trailer, the wheels went bad, the tires. It was so great because as a team, we worked it out. I was in and out of a shop with brand new rubber and back on the road. You can't say that about these mega companies. You're going to sit for 2 and 3 and 4 hours, but they have 52 systems in place to alleviate that. And it's like technology is great, but it's nothing without humans. Someone's got to push a button still. Nothing's fully automated. And I love it because when I call, I don't get a voice recording. I get an actual human if I have an issue or a problem. And we solve it right then and there. And they work with us and we work with them. And that's why I love VRS and I recommend it to anybody. And that's coming from my experiences with very large companies, other small companies. And they are really on track to do it. Maybe not bigger, but definitely better than people who've been doing this for 30 years. And they have large companies. You're just a drop in a bucket. And I like it that I'm not here.
I love how you gave an example where you actually were a name and not a number. And for those of you
Yeah,
just tuning in, we're talking with one of our drivers. This is Tony Robinson with VRS Trucking, also a military veteran. He's been driving trucks for years. He is certainly our expert on the matter, and you're not afraid to share that knowledge with others to help further the mission of your team. So, speaking of
right.
missions, aside from the size and the people at VRS Trucking, did veteran side attract you as well that we give back to the veteran and military community?
Not just that. It's one thing. I'll put it in an instance for you. When I got out the military in 2010, there wasn't a lot of resources for vets. They just started. It was almost like the same thing that happened in Vietnam. They came back. They were called baby killers and God knows what else. And they came back wounded. And I've always loved the saying, just because you can't see my wounds does not mean they don't exist. Because mental wounds you can't see. And when you have a company that is veteran operated and woman owned, you might want to look at it because it's smart. And yeah, it may be catchy, but it's actually true. And for someone to know what I go through, being an owner, it doesn't give me a breezeway or an escape of responsibility, but someone understands. It's like going to a psychologist, but they've never been to war. Can you tell me about me then? You don't know what I'm going through. You can tell me my symptoms, but you're not walking a mile in my shoes. I'm dealing with someone who's walked in my shoes, who's been there, who's done that. I'm dealing with a minority owned company. It's ran by a woman, a trucking company. Most time it's Joe Blow, Bob, whoever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I looked at that first and I was just like, I like that. I was raised by my mother as well. And my mom was a big woman's advocate against, abuse and things like that. And so to see that, it interested me, it piqued my interest. And then the veteran thing was just icing on the cake. The plans that Chris, Scott, Tony, Phil, everyone has here for the vets to revitalize. Everyone else has a solution or a complaint about there bums on the street. Okay, but what's your solution? No one comes about it. Here, it's actually things in place to come about this. A school. They can learn mechanics. They can learn how to drive a truck. They can reinvent themselves once again. You know what I mean? They have an address they can use, to get a job because you still got to eat while you're learning. So, and with me being a trainer, with me having the experiences I have and being able to help succeed in that, the opportunities are endless for me. And that's what I love about it. That's why I love the whole veteran thing. I've seen it all from people who aren't vets, but they're wearing military fatigues and begging for change. And I've seen it all. And I look at it and I'm like, I could be you, but I'm not. Because VRS isn't a handout, it's a hand up. Chris will let you do anything you want to do. If you want to be an owner op, okay, but let's see how you drive first for 4 months. Let's see if you treat my vehicle like you would your own. And they can tell you, I don't bring my vehicle in dirty. My truck trailer is clean. Everything's armor-alled because I respect it and I'm loyal. And they pay for it, so why not do it? The mechanics love it because the engine compartment's clean to work on, and we help each other. Even though it benefits me because I have a clean, shiny truck, but it also benefits them to do the work. They can see what they're working on, and that was something I was taught early in truck driving. Always keep a clean vehicle, and so it's great. And my wife is learning too. She's learning things about the trucking industry, and she's actually starting to fall in love with it.
Good. I want to hear more about her. So, how long has your wife been with you in the truck now?
I started with VRS in January 19th, and I still haven't been home yet because, like I said, I love driving. And so I picked her up. Actually, yeah, I picked her up on the 19th, and I was out on the 18th from orientation. And she's been on the truck ever since.
Incredible. And so
And
your
she
dog,
loves it.
Harley, does really well on the road as well?
Yes, he's awesome. I was gonna have him in here. Um, he's a Chihuahua. He's a long coat, and he's laid back, man. He's like I called him Harley just because anyone who knows a Harley motorcycle, and I'm a bike enthusiast.
Awesome.
They're a cruiser. They're not for zipping and all that. They're a cruising bike, just laid back. So I looked at him. I said, "Yeah, you're Harley." He sleeps on the truck most of the day. He gets up. I take him out. He does his business, comes back in, plays a little bit, and just wants to sit and ride and look out the window. And if something's wrong, I don't know, broker or bugging me, or I don't know, something happened at a truck stop, somebody speeding through. These are things that happen. I like just look down at his little face, and he's just like, hmm. And I'm like, well, I can't have a bad day now. Or my wife, baby, it's okay, don't worry about it. Let's go, and we hit the road.
That's
I mean,
I feel like it
and the
could be
miles are,
nice, but you've got your favorite companions with you. How
yeah.
amazing.
I mean,
And you're making money.
and that, yeah, and that's part of it. It's trucking to me is so versatile. Like I say, I live in Corrales, New Mexico right now, um, but originally from New Orleans. And my brother lives in North Carolina. And so me and my wife were talking about moving there. The great thing about my job, I can be anywhere and do it. I'm not stuck in an office. And I got the best views of the world. And that's what VRS affords. And a lot of people, like me and Chris were talking earlier, all these new drivers are getting sucked into, oh, I'll pay you 75 cents a mile. Yeah, but how many miles are you running?
Hmm.
I'll pay you $1 a mile, but if I only give you 500 miles, you're only making $500 for the week before taxes. So I like a company that does what they say and sticks behind it, and that's what VRS does. I've been out. I think I've got in the months I've been out, I've got over 10,000 miles. I just came off of a 3,000-mile trip yesterday. I pulled in at 4 o'clock. So the miles are there, the money's there. I know we're in a driver shortage in the industry, but all that can be overcome because the trucks are still running. There's obviously freight to move, and it just depends on who you want to do it with. You want to be badgered all day and treated like scum of the earth when you're making their paycheck, or you come in and everyone's nice and jovial and, hey, how you doing? And they know you by name, literally. A lot of companies claim that. They don't. Because if you walk into the doors, they're going, what are you doing? What do you need? That's their greeting.
Ugh.
You come here and, hey, Anthony, how you doing? Hi. You may not even know the person, but they know you,
Wow.
you know? And so it's just been a great experience. And like I told Chris, I said, yep, you ever seen a tick? Yeah. Hard to let go, right? Yeah. I said, well, good luck getting rid of me. Just because I love it. Yeah, they make my life easy. Driving is not hard. It's technical, yes. And they consider it a trade. To me, it's not a trade. It's very intensive. You're driving around a gross vehicle weight of 80,000 pounds, which equals 40 tons.
Wow.
That's a lot of weight.
Absolutely.
Happens. There's a car in front of you, something. It takes more than a football field length to stop at 50 miles an hour. Now imagine we're doing 75 on the freeway.
Wow.
Yeah. I've talked to other drivers in different places. Like back home, I've talked to a couple driving schools where I can take my truck in while they're going through their driving school. They can get in the truck. We can go around the block. They can see how the truck maneuvers. So we're not having people trying to skim up the side of us while we're trying to make a turn. They understand how it works and how much space we need. So instead of complaining about the drivers and just they're stupid, those four wheelers don't know nothing. Teach them
Mhm.
from when they start getting their license.
Mhm.
That way they understand what we're doing and why we're doing it. And that we have to sometimes button hook and come out and come back to make the turn. So don't jump in the middle because I can't see you.
Mhm.
So those are things like that. They inspire things like that here. They inspire creativity. Uh, they listen to you. And I love it because it's like the military. I didn't know what I was getting into, but they loved it because I was a clean slate and they could mold me into what they wanted. It's different here because I have experience, of course, but they listen to me, not just yeah, we'll figure it out. They actually listen and take it in and use it, and it makes our whole team better.
That's incredible. And you're right. It's funny because I've seen on trucks before, it's basically educating the public. If I can't, if you can't see my mirrors, I can't see you, or makes a wide turn. And
Yep.
I've always thought it would definitely feel intimidating to have such a big, heavy vehicle in my command. That's a lot of responsibility. So I love the fact that you're taking that opportunity to teach others. So,
Yeah,
I mean, that's
we
just,
have to. I mean, a lot of, like I say, a lot of the public are blind to what I don't like to be called a truck driver.
Mhm.
I'm a driver because when you put truck driver into it, it brings people back to the 70s and 80s of renegades and never sleeping and hopped up on drugs. And I get out places and even the kids look at me like I'm confused because they have this picture of a big bearded mean biker looking trucker.
Yeah.
And I'm a biker. I have a Harley. I but I'm not what you think. So
Mhm.
when we can break the rumors and the facade and say, hey, I'm just like you. I like Burger King too. I shouldn't eat a lot, but I like it. You know, and the kids want to climb in the truck and see the truck, and oh wow, it's huge in here. Like, yeah, and it is a lot of responsibility, and you have to take this job very seriously because in a second, life can change for you. And my wife realized it. We were running down Vale in snow just this season and chained up, and it was an experience for her. For me, it was nothing. It's what I do. There's parameters set for how we drive these things and what we're supposed to do. And, you know, people see trucks use lower gear. What's that mean? Well, we got to keep it in a certain gear to not go past the speed limit and be in control of the truck at all times. And not to say that there's not drivers out here that, I've been doing this for years. Nobody's going to tell me how to change. It's my grandfather said it best. You can go down the hill fast once, but you can go down slow a million times.
Mhm. Oh, I like that. Yeah.
So
Yeah, I've
we
seen
have to take everything.
that before on high interstates, especially in like mountainous
Yep.
areas, and that
The runoff ones.
terrifying to have to actually use one of those.
Yeah, and you got to imagine you got 40 tons on 18 wheels, and your brakes are metal. When they connect, it's metal on metal. The more you hit those brakes, the more they heat up. And there's no such thing as brake fade. You won't have brakes. You can't stop the vehicle. You have to take the runoff, the truck runout.
Mhm.
That's
That would be.
never do it. Thank God. Uh, just because I've I'm in control all the time. I'm a control freak about that.
Yeah,
And then you got to think I have my wife and I have my life on the truck,
right.
you know,
You do.
and I could care less what happens to me. You know, I chose this profession. I know it. I know the dangers of it, but she does not. And so it's funny because I can tell her things and she's like, you can almost predict what this driver is going to do. Yeah, because he's not doing it right. You know, eh, everyone thinks, you got a speed demon. If I'm doing 65 and you're doing 80, you may get there faster, but you're tearing up the company's equipment,
Mhm.
endangering the public, and more than likely you've already laid on the load. So what's the point? I'm going to get there on time. I'm not tearing up the equipment. So that means I'm making more money because I'm not in the shop. So those are things we equate to. And like I say, VRS gives us all the advantages. And what they don't know, they'll listen and they'll get together and we work out a plan to implement it because it's easy to implement 5 trucks. It's a little harder to do like 50. And I think we're just at 50 trucks or more. And they want courteous drivers. They want drivers who take responsibility because, yeah, it's their equipment. Yeah, you're not paying for it, but they're affording you a way to make money and you should respect it. And I respect them because they respect me. And the truck they gave me is beautiful. I can't even, I love the truck. Love the truck. It's very nice. It's very clean. I keep it clean. My wife stays on top of keeping it clean and me. And it makes it so much better when you're driving down the road. You know your equipment's good. The mechanics here are great. They're awesome. Whatever you need done or think, even if it's a if, they look into it and get it done and get you back out on the road. Like I'm in here now to get a fifth wheel put on, a sliding fifth wheel.
Hmm.
It's already done.
Awesome.
So I mean, it's just better. It's just better for to be. It's a great place to be a driver. And I don't feel like it's a job. I feel like I'm working for my family, and you'll do anything for your family. So there's nothing too big or too little that they ask me for that I just won't do.
Well, that was perfect. Thank you so much today for your time, Tony. I really appreciate how
Yeah.
insightful you were and how you've demonstrated that VRS trucking isn't just a job, it's a lifestyle, which I can see kind of
Yes.
the military. But as you said, you have your whole
Yes.
life on the truck. You're able to bring your wife with you and Harley, your dog, with you. And I don't know many other companies that offer you that. So you can have
They do.
it all, do they?
They do.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you got to pay $200 pet deposit, non-refundable,
Oh.
and if anything happens, you have to pay for it on top of that.
Hmm.
And this is how in tune they are. Bring your dog. Whatever messes up, you pay for it and fix it.
Hmm.
I mean, why am I paying a $200 pet deposit that you keep no matter what? And then if there is damage, I pay on top of it.
Hmm.
You
Yeah.
know, two and two is always going to be four. It's never going to be 10. So that never made sense to me.
Right.
And here they encourage it. They, you know, it's common sense. If I have my wife with me, my life's with me. So I'm going to want to stay out longer, even though I do anyway, even if I'm by myself. I'm not rushing to get home because I got to put a fire out. Home's with me. And so I can stay out longer. So I can make more money and make more revenue. And it works out good. Everybody wins.
Right.
If I need to get home, other companies, they fail at it. We'll put it that way.
Hmm.
It's not a big concern because it's not their life. Here, I've talked to a driver where he had to get home. They had him deliver his load and flew him home
Wow.
immediately. No other company does that. I've actually came into it when my dad died in Sugar Land, Texas, and I was trying to get back to New Mexico where he passed away. And they were scrambling, supposedly, and they said, "Oh, we can put you on a Greyhound." If he's in the hospital passing away,
Yeah.
Greyhound's not going to cut it. Then they wanted me to drive 140 miles to drop the truck at a secure yard. This is an emergency. This isn't my third cousin uncle removed. This is my father. And I didn't make it. He was gone, but he was asking for me. So it was tough. Here, I feel secure that if my wife is home, and something happens, you're gone. Go take care of it. But I've also done my part. I've shown that I'm dependable. My loads are on time, usually early, and I just do what's expected of me, but I go beyond that because that's what you do for family.
Mhm.
And that's how I feel. I don't feel like I'm working for a company. I feel like I'm working for a family. So if something was to happen with Tony or Chris or anyone here, yeah, it's going to affect me. I'm going to feel bad about anything because I'm vested. And a lot of company drivers they don't invest themselves into the business. They just collect a paycheck.
Right.
I don't do that.
Well, it's because it's part of a family now.
Yes, ma'am.
That is incredible.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, thank you so much. We are always looking for other drivers to join our team at VRS
Yes.
Trucking. I've got our website up here
Yes.
for anyone tuning in, vrstrucking.com. You can join Tony and learn all the tricks of the trade, join the team, be part of a big mission, and
Yes.
hopefully it will impact your life in as positive a way as it has for you, Tony. So
Yes.
thank you so much for your time today, and thank you all for tuning
Thank you,
in.
Ms. Jack.
I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.